What's good, YouTube? It's Teflon Don, and I'm here again. I got another video for you guys, and this time we're just gonna be a bit more serious, man. I can't just be coming around with fun shit all the time, man. Sometimes you gotta get serious, gotta make people aware of certain things that are going on in the world. And this is a video that was posted like about a year ago, but for me it lays close to home because it's happening in my country, and yeah, basically just gonna get a better understanding, give you guys a better context of, what's actually going on in this video. So let's go.
Cough syrup, yeah man. So many people are drinking. Everything here is down.
We've got a generation to lose if the government does not step up.
This one makes us feel better. Cheapest way to get high, $5.
Police are come after we, but we don't give a damn about them. If they come, we wanna give them $2, they go back.
And you even see they're bribing the police with the cough syrup. That's crazy, man.
The streets of Harare are full of brown cough syrup bottles, a sign of the addiction epidemic currently ravaging the country, particularly affecting young people.
That's why it's so close to home, man. It's affecting the younger generation. And like this neighborhood, it's called Marlborough, and it's actually a good neighborhood in Harare. It's not the streets. This is a good neighborhood. I'm sure you can see from like the houses, the palm trees and everything. Just maybe the road is just not in good condition, but you can see from the houses that this is a good neighborhood.
No doubt, you can die the shit. I ain't got no mercy. I'm so ruthless. I'm a villain. Known that I'm a 26.
Man, I can't just help out my head when I hear music.
16, I started drinking Broncho. So per day I could take something like 4 bottles and 400 mils. I wasn't myself. I was someone else or something else.
The cough syrup, often of the brand Broncho, contains codeine.
So in Zimbabwe, if you just hear the name Broncho, that's what they're talking about. Broncho, that's cough syrup. That's bronchia on the streets.
An opiate that can be used as a painkiller. It's relatively harmless in small doses, but can be highly addictive. Bronclear also contains alcohol, so when you drink a lot of it, it will make you feel both drunk and high. In large quantities, it can lead to respiratory problems, dangerously low blood pressure, and permanent damage to the brain, heart, and liver.
Because Bronco, it slows you down. Like, it slows you down. So I understand, like, what they're saying. It slows you down.
Like I did it because of my friends. They were like, if you don't do this, I won't play with you. And you start doing it. Afterwards, you think it's a better way of life. My mother is a widow. Then she doesn't go to work. So some of the times when you get peace jobs,
Like, honestly, I get like peer pressure and all that. Like, definitely. Especially, like, at such a young age, man. Like, people underestimate what peer pressure can actually do to you. Because, like, you don't want to lose your friends, and those are the people that you've probably, like, grown up with. And, like, for them to accept you, you just end up doing what they are doing. But as you get older, you realize that you don't have to do what your friends do. You can do your own thing. And you can still be friends with them. Let them do what they do. Don't judge them. Just be there for them. But then you can still choose your own path. And like in this case, I feel like the friends was just like the surface of whatever problems he was having.
you have to go and get some money and bring it home to buy some food.
This is my house. I stay here with my 5 children, my mother of 5. With my son, unfortunately, we didn't pick it up because he was in boarding school. My son, he's the quiet type. We couldn't really notice a change in him.
That's why for me, man, my kids have to be at home so that I don't want like any institute or school like teaching them about life. That should be coming straight from me, man. So that I can imprint my ideals on them, to them. My ideals, I can imprint them on them. And I know my ideals are better than the school's ideals.
Till last year, you would come home, you would be on that couch, he's holding a plate in his hand, and you're speaking to him and he's not responding. That is what Bronclear does. He even went to a stage where he started taking things and selling them maybe to buy or his Bronclear or whatever he was taking then. Yeah, a lot of things. My laptop, cell phones, even food. He even went to that extent. One time he even went away from home. He was now staying in the streets doing these drug things.
The economy is in ruins. 90% of the population is without formal employment, and families are plagued with poverty and addiction. Back in the 1980s, Zimbabwe was prospering, but former dictator Robert Mugabe ran the country into the ground. He was ousted in November 2017, and in July 2018, the country held its first democratic election.
Man, Mugabe is such a controversial figure, man. Like, so controversial. Like, yeah, he ran the country down to the ground, but he picked it up at the same time. So, it's difficult, man. Like, it's really difficult on how you're gonna judge a person's legacy, because you can't just look at the bad things only. You also have to take into consideration the good that he did, and like just come to your own judgment, man. And you don't know the reason why he did what he did. He probably had his own reasons. Maybe he was bitter. I don't know. But for me, he's just a neutral figure to me, because he did good things, he did bad things, and for me, it just cancels each other out. I can't say he was a bad person, because what he did really changed the game. And like, of course, like with media outlets like this, they're gonna change the context because they really don't like him. But like, it could come down to race, a racial thing. Maybe that's how he looked at it, because obviously in places in the first world, people are doing fucked up shit, but they're not getting blasted with. They're not getting blasted for, because they control the media. In this case, the media is just portraying him. It's kind of like a Donald Trump situation.
In 4 decades. But people are still feeling the consequences of Mugabe's 37-year rule. We drive to the slums of Mufakose, an impoverished area in the outskirts of the.
It's like, what would you rather have? Would you rather still be colonized, or live in Mugabe's regime? And to be honest, I don't know which one to pick, because I'm sure both of them would have been. Well, the Mugabe regime was difficult as fuck, so I'm sure it's just so difficult, man.
The capital. Here we meet Phaeton. He works as a music producer.
Welcome to Mfakos. This is my ghetto.
But when he was younger, he lived on the streets and was addicted to Bronclear. Today, he's trying to help his friends, who are all stuck in a vicious cycle of cough syrup dependency.
This is some of my ghetto youths. They don't go to work. As you can see that's what they take. That's Bronclear.
4 years ago, the government.
And I don't mind, man, and I don't mind. It'll look for some way to entertain itself, and drugs is like the easiest thing, because drugs will make you feel like you're not there, even though you're there.
Outlawed the sale of Bronclear, but the illegal import of the cough syrup, especially from South Africa, has continued, and it's very easy to get your hands on a bottle.
Even a young child, if you ask him, what is this bottle? He or she can tell you that this is a Bronclear. Everyone is selling even.
Just walking around in the streets of Harare, you'll see Bronclear bottles everywhere. Even in the good neighborhoods, wherever, because Zimbabwe is like not, it's like divided in terms of like people's income, but in terms of like the way people live, people are going all over. Someone is going from the streets, they're going from the ghetto, they'll be going to a suburb constantly, like every day. So obviously that shit is also going to seep into the suburbs. And I'm sure like that's what happened in the case of the young man before, that somehow like it's accessible because it gets to your community. It's not like you have to go far to go look for it. There'll be people around the corner selling it to you.
And on the shops there's a lot of people who are selling these things.
Phaeton takes us to the local marketplace to show us how cough syrup is being sold and used on the street.
Yeah, left. For the sake of these guys, maybe they don't want their place to be out. So we'll get into the bar, then someone will just come and drink, then you see.
soon, we're surrounded by young guys drinking Bronclear.
We do it like this
That's how
each and every
as you can
day.
see.
The guys are already high. When you drink a lot of cough syrup every day, it can cause your teeth to rot and fall out. So to protect their teeth, they pour the liquid directly into their throats.
Man, because that shit is fucking sweet. So that's what, like, it's so sweet. Over time, it's gonna dissolve your teeth.
How long does it take until you feel
Something like 20 minutes. It's for half a day, then you need another edition. The main reason which makes us do these drugs is, guys, is unemployment. We don't have things to do. Don't get stressed or get worried about a lot of things. I've been seated at home like 2 years now.
This one makes us feel better. Stress. Don't think too much when you drink this. Every day I take one bottle and I feel high. And I don't think anything.
No, just getting high to try escape, man. That's what they're trying to do, man. They can't physically escape, so mentally, that's what they're trying to do. And like, I don't blame them, man. Like, people will judge this documentary and be like, Africa this, Africa that. But to be honest, if you haven't been there for long enough and you haven't gotten to live like a local, then you'll never understand why someone would do something like that. It's not like they're doing it for fun. It's like there's just nothing else, man. And you end up in something. And it's not like someone goes and like, I'm gonna get addicted. Maybe it's just that one day or those few times where you're like, I just want to escape, man. And next thing you end up being addicted.
We say about $100 to $150. We make a profit of about $100, just one box. We have got some buyers there outside South Africa, so we contact each other. We send them some money, and they bring the drugs by the bus.
Like, this is stuff that's happening all over the first world, man. Like, niggas be importing drugs on fucking ships, bro. Like, be fucking, like, tons of cocaine being delivered, man. And it gets through, somehow it gets through the border. So, like, don't judge it, man. Don't judge it.
Adcock Ingram, the South African company behind Bronclear, told us they are concerned with the alleged misuse of their cough syrup with codeine, and that since the product is not registered in Zimbabwe, it's illegal to export it there.
Man, they're still making their money because people are still buying it, but
They acknowledged that smuggling medicine across borders is common and told us they have internal processes in place to flag unusually high or suspicious orders. We want to understand what's being done to help young addicts, so we head to downtown Harare to meet up with Hilton Nyamukapa. He works for one of the few NGOs in Zimbabwe actively
take note of this man. Take note of this man because he's making a change. Instead of looking at your celebrities, blah blah blah, these are the people really affecting change in the world because they're helping you on a deeper level. They're helping you psychologically, man. Psychologically. And your mental is where everything is happening. The way you look at things inside is how it's going to be projected on the outside. So don't take it for granted when people say mental health, etc., etc. If your arm can get injured, why can't your brain be injured? Why can't your head be injured? Why can't your mind be injured? Just think about it.
working to help addicts.
It's not like it's permanently damaged. It's just an injury. You can recover from it.
There are quite a number of reasons why the youths are actually taking drugs. The number one reason is idleness. Some of them cannot afford to go to colleges, so it's a way of coping with the stress associated with idleness.
It's hard to pinpoint the exact amount of young Zimbabweans who are addicted to Bronclear and other narcotics. The government states that no official studies have been conducted to quantify the scope of the issue. That's why various interest groups have made their own.
Because, man, there's just too many problems, man. There are too many problems. All their resources will finish just trying to figure out all the problems that ends them.
Assessments. And even though the results vary a lot, one thing is certain. The number of young people living on the streets as drug users is alarmingly high.
The information we are getting from various sources, we can say probably more than 50% of the youths in Zimbabwe are actually taking drugs.
And once you're hooked, it's hard to get help, because the only specialized rehabilitation options in Zimbabwe are privately run and unaffordable for most users. Hilton tells us how the government handles it.
If you use drugs, you are a criminal, you should be sent to jail. So as an organization, we are saying the legal...
Which, like, you don't understand why that person is using drugs. Especially, like, people that are coming from, from poverty, man. They're coming from the dirt. And they're just trying to get to the top, man. And, like, those struggles that you get through trying to get to the top, you end up doing something that you don't want to do just to, like, relieve your stress, man. So, like, someone who's higher up, they'll never understand that. Someone who's never lived that life, never understand that, man. That's why they don't think it's important.
Legal system should actually have...
I'm just trying to, like, add the awareness to it so that people also know what's going on. My few subscribers, my few views, it's gonna make a difference.
some kind of rehabilitation or treatment.
We want to ask the authorities about the lack of state-run drug rehabilitation clinics, so we drive to the Ministry of Health.
The treatment for drug dependence is only available in psychiatric institutions. By keeping them in the hospital and then giving them some like maybe diazepam to make sure that they don't take the drugs. So eventually they forget to take drugs.
Hilton Yamukapa does not think that jail sentences and psychiatric treatment works. The NGO is pushing for the government to run rehabilitation clinics where people can receive proper result-oriented treatment.
The problem of actually putting those people in mental institutions is that kind of treatment is actually detoxifying them. It's not actual treatment, because you are detoxified today and tomorrow you're also craving for drugs. So that is not the proper treatment. We want a proper treatment where actually there is a gradual treatment until the person recovers.
So, like, from what I'm gauging from what he's saying, it's basically an illness, man. It's an illness. It's not something that you can just, take away. If you get ill, you have to take medication. You have to take time to recover. If you break an arm, you break a leg. Like, you don't just get healed tomorrow. Even if the doctor gives you medication, you have to go through rehabilitation, etc., for you to get back to where you were. So it's the same case for the mental as well. It's just that obviously in Africa, like, and not just in Africa, I'll just say amongst the black community, we have a lack of awareness for mental health. And we should start taking note. I hope someone important or someone who's going through this just stumbles upon this video of me just putting it more into context of, something that a layman, someone that's on the street, a civilian is going to understand. Because right now, this is like a documentary, all that, it's for entertainment, but this is some real shit. But it's for entertainment, I commend them because they bring awareness, man. I'll never bash them for that.
Zimbabweans pretend to be conservative and they don't want to openly talk about these things. So going forward, we've got a generation to lose if the government does not step up and Zimbabweans themselves don't step up to try and find a solution to dealing with this drug problem that is bedeviling our nation.
My way forward to leave all that was to dump all my bad friends, close myself in my bedroom. Like when I started being serious in my music, I had no time for drugs and something like that. So that's what made me lose my interest in drugs. I have 4 siblings, and like all of them, they're looking up to me. I hope for the future is to be someone better, like a source of inspiration to the youth.
Nah, man, this man is very inspiring. Because to go through all that and then come back on the other side and still be able to be positive and, still be able to engage, just for you to even put yourself on this platform, man, it takes a lot of guts to let people know what you're really going through. And, like, I know he knows that He did it for a reason, to help someone else that was in the same situation that he was in. And I like how his mom said that it's not just a government problem, it's also a problem amongst us as Zimbabweans that we need to address. We can't just wait for the government to fix anything, to fix everything. There's certain things that they're gonna do, there's certain things that they're not gonna do. So we need to take the steps into action. We need to change this shit.
Kuziwakashe found a purpose in making music, and hence a way out. But thousands of young Zimbabweans are still in the claws of addiction. But to treat the root cause of Zimbabwe's cough syrup abuse, the lack of opportunities for the country's youth, it will take real political change that offers them future prospects.
Yeah, chippy win. Yeah, young nigga from Zim, Poppy USA, ja. Yeah, 5 years from the line, I'll be counting that dish. Yeah.
Man, that's crazy, man. Like, just a crazy documentary. But it's just telling you the reality. That was released in 2018. And I know that it's probably gotten worse, but there's always light at the end of the tunnel, man. Just have to be aware of what's going on so that we can start making the changes. Anyways, that's Teflon Don. Thanks for watching. If you managed to stay up till this point, hopefully you can get in the comments and we can start having a conversation about these things, man. Because I get YouTube is all for entertainment and everything, but there's real life shit going on, and we need to start having the conversations.